The American Hustle, Battle of Fredericksburg, and Taylor Swift are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is December 13th, 2021. It is the 347th day of the year. We got 18 days left. We're winding it down. It is the 50th Monday in the 51st week and the 83rd day of fall. We got 8 days until winter. If today's your birthday, your birthstone is still a turquoise or a blue topaz. Today is National Ice Cream Day. Actually, there's 2 National Ice Cream Days. There's one in July also. I guess there was a big political rift in the ice cream industry and there's a breakaway sect of the National Ice Cream organizations. I don't know. So they apparently didn't like the fact that something was going on with the July one, so they made their own frickin' holiday on December 13th. Obviously, these aren't big thinkers. I mean, ice cream's great all the time, but really, ice cream's a summer thing, not dead of winter or almost winter, 8 days away. It's just weird. This one suggests you go to your local ice cream shop and, spend some money there. The other one, I guess, is for the at-home type ice cream. I don't know, too much politics and ice cream for me. All right, let's see what else December 13th is giving us. 1636, the Massachusetts Bay Colony organizes 3 militia regiments to defend the colony against the local Native Americans. This organization is recognized today as the founding of the National Guard in the United States. My brother's about to retire from the National Guard, a couple months away from now. 1758, the English transport ship Duke William sinks in the North Atlantic, killing over 360 people. That must have, getting on a boat back then to cross the Atlantic or any ocean, no radios. If you go down, you're just going down. There's really no hope for you, especially in the North Atlantic. That's insane. 1862, the American Civil War. At the Battle of Fredericksburg, Confederate General Robert E. Lee defeats Union Major General Ambrose Burnside. This wasn't really that hard because Burnside was a horrible general and had ridiculous facial hair. 1972, the Apollo program. Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt begin the third and final extravehicular activity, EVA, or Moonwalk of Apollo 17. To date, they are the last humans to set foot on the moon. As of 72, almost 50 years ago. 1977, Air Indiana Flight 216 crashes near Evansville Regional Airport, killing 29, including the University of Evansville basketball team, support staff, and boosters of the team. That sucks. We've talked about a few different plane crashes that killed whole sports teams from colleges. I mean, Marshall, they lost their whole football team just about. I think there was 3 players that stayed behind because they were injured, but the whole team died. And then there was the Cal Poly team that died. I'm not any way, shape, or form any kind of engineer or anything like that. You'd think that after all these plane crashes since we've started flying, they would have come up with some sort of parachute system or something that could be put on the whole plane. If we could drop a tank out of the air on parachutes, which I've seen many times, they should be able to hook up some kind of security system for planes. That's not going to fix every accident they have. I mean, sometimes they just kind of catch fire or whatever the problem is, but sometimes most of the damage and most of the deaths are when they smack into the ground. I have seen systems like that on little Cessnas, 3-4 person planes, but you'd think they'd put it on these big planes since I'm sure they're doling out millions every time there's a plane crash. And the damage it does to the business. Gotta cost a bunch. 1988, PLO chairman Yasser Arafat gives a speech at the UN General Assembly meeting in Geneva, Switzerland, after the United States authorities refused to give him a visa to visit the UN headquarters in New York City. Yeah, he was pretty much labeled a terrorist at this point, and they weren't, gonna let him in. 1994, Flagship Airlines Flight 3379 crashes in Morrisville, North Carolina. Wow, another plane crash. This was near Raleigh-Durham International Airport. It killed 15 people. 2003, the Iraqi War. Operation Red Dawn goes down. Former Iraqi President Saddam Hussein is captured near his hometown of Tikrit. This was really interesting. Operation Red Dawn was an operation done by JSOC, which is Joint Special Operation. It's basically Delta Force Special Forces type guys. Navy SEALs and those Air Force guys, whatever. So they get some intelligence that Saddam Hussein might be hiding in 2 places. They named it Red Dawn after the Patrick Swayze movie, which, by the way, if you've never seen Red Dawn, see the older one. It's so much better than the new one that they had a couple years ago. It was crap a couple years ago. Anyway, Red Dawn is probably one of the best movies of the 1980s. In the movie Red Dawn, which came out in 1984, it had Patrick Swayze, Charlie Sheen, C. Thomas Howell, Jennifer Grey, a bunch of other people. Anyway, Russians invade the United States and these kids in some small town in Colorado decide to go to the woods and hide from the invasion. Well, they're hunters and all that. They grew up doing that stuff. So they eventually stay in the woods so long, they start attacking the Soviet troops. Great movie if you've never seen it. In the movie, the kids' high school football team was called the Wolverines. And so they were known as the Wolverines, these kids that were attacking the Russian soldiers. Great movie if you ever get a chance to see it. In the Iraqi Red Dawn version, they named both the two teams that were going to the places, Wolverine 1 and Wolverine 2. So the two areas are assaulted and searched, and they don't find anything, and they're just getting ready to leave. They call in the helicopters for an extraction. Everything's ending, and one guy happens to kick a piece of flooring aside, which exposes a hole. So they're getting ready to throw a grenade down there, and Saddam Hussein pokes his head out of the hole with a gun in his hand, and one of the guys smacked him in the face with his rifle, and they took him into custody. 3 years later, the Iraqi people sentenced him to death, and they hung him. Movies released on December 13th. 2013, we got The American Hustle. This was a pretty good movie. The film is based on the FBI ab scam operation, which transpired in the late 70s and early 80s. Christian Bale's character, Irving Rosenfield, is based on con artist Melvin Weinberg. The movie's hysterical because everyone in here is a mess. It had Jennifer Lawrence, Jeremy Renner, Bradley Cooper, Christian Bale, Amy Adams, and Louis C.K. back before they found out he was a little bit of a creep. But if you ever get a chance, watch the movie. It's well worth it. It's great. So it's late 70s, early 80s, and microwaves were kind of new. And this guy gets Jennifer Lawrence a microwave as a gift, and she doesn't understand how it works. There's no heat. What's going on? And he's all, it's science. It's science. So the rest of the movie, she keeps referring it to as the science oven. And she keeps putting metal in it. It's a great movie. Born on December 13th, 1989, Taylor Swift. Everyone knows who Taylor Swift is. I don't have to explain it to you. She's not my type of music, but that album she came out with called Folklore during the pandemic, where she recorded it at home, it's a great album. I became a fan of hers. I mean, I'm not going to go out and see her concert unless she calls me and gets me tickets, but I have a lot of respect for her. She seems like a really pleasant young lady. Died on December 13th. 2016, we lost Alan Thicke, Canadian actor who played Jason Seaver on the popular television show Growing Pains, and also had his own talk show, The Alan Thicke Show. He's also the father of Robin Thicke, who is a singer-songwriter, I guess. This guy's, his dad's famous or whatever, decides he wants to be a pop star. So he starts singing music or whatever, and he gets this one guy to help him write this song and do a video called Blurred Lines with the hip-hop guy Pernell. So, besides the many lawsuits, there was a bunch of controversy because of the song. Even the video had naked women. There's two versions. There's a PG version, and then there's an R-rated version where you got naked women walking around. Besides that, a big lawsuit came about because they kind of ripped off a Marvin Gaye song for it, and I kind of understand. All musicians kind of use other musicians these days, little parts of their music, and I kind of get both sides of the argument. People have been doing this forever. It's kind of part of music nowadays, sampling or whatever. This one was a little blatant, and I could see why Marvin Gaye's family wanted to sue and all that. I don't know. A bunch of other musicians came out and supported him, saying that this is just part of music now. Anyway, weird thing. Yeah, so his dad, Robin Thicke, died on this day in 2016. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, be nice to each other.